Man, I'm not gonna lie, this is gonna be embarrassing as fuck. But you need to hear this. Man, when I was in high school, 15, 16 years old, and I'd come home after school, I did what every young man would do. Right when I came back, I said hi to my grandma in the kitchen, and then I told my grandma, hey, I need to check something in my room real quick. So I walked into my room, I locked the door, and then my brain immediately thought of, what can I beat my meat to now? I was so over-sexualized at that time. I turned on my computer and then went through all the videos that I had saved on my hard drive. Janet Jameson, Lisa Ann, you know the names, the old school ones. And then I started beating my meat as hard as I could. It got so bad that I beat my meat 7 times a day, bro.
Stop it. Get some help.
I even launched a competition with my best friend who gave me all the saucy videos, man. I called him up, I was like,
Hey man, I've done it 4 times today. How many have you done?
and he's like, oh, I've only done 3. I'm like,
No, I'm gonna win it. I'm gonna win it.
and I did it because I didn't know it was bad at that time. And I'm sure you didn't know at this time either. And then once a week, I'd meet up with that friend, Chris, and I've asked him, hey man, do you have new videos? And man, I never thought I had a fucking problem until I turned 27, man. Man, by then I had become an absolute slave to sexual urges. Almost every hour of the day, I was thinking about sex. I was at the office while I was working on spreadsheets and strategy for the company I was working at. I was thinking of weird fetishes. Big boobs, a woman doing splits while I fuck her. I could not focus anymore. And the worst of all, I had a girlfriend at home, a straight out of 10, bro. Blonde, blue eyes, typical German girl with massive melons, man. Like, so many guys were jealous of the girl I had. But guess what, man? I did not fuck her anymore. Because she couldn't do it for me anymore. I couldn't get it up anymore. Why? Because, man, I had developed the weirdest fetishes, weird fantasies about cheating, banging specific types of girls, and she wasn't that type of girl anymore. I watched too much porn. So while my girlfriend Kathy was cooking in the kitchen, preparing my dinner to support me, you know what I was doing? Going to cornhub.com and beat the meat again. One day, we had an intern come over and she was shadowing my work. And then after 30 minutes, we exchanged numbers and I met up with her the same night I fucked her because I had this fantasy of fucking an intern. It's crazy, man. She was fucking hot though. And then I had a side chick who knew that I had a girlfriend. I was banging chicks every week. Any chick other than my girlfriend. I was flying out. I was going on business trips every 2 weeks. Got Tinder Premium. I set my location to whatever destination I was flying to. Berlin, Munich, Stuttgart. And I was pretending to be a Londoner. I'd fucked a new chick at least once a trip. And then had a rooster. And whenever I came back, I fucked them again. I was a complete slave to my lust, bro. But the problem is, man, Katie found out every single time because of course I had to take videos. Of course I had to take pictures. Of course I just kept them on my phone. And one day she took my phone and she found all the pictures and she was heartbroken, man. And that's when it changed. That's when my perception changed. I realized, bro, I fucked up. I broke another girl's heart simply because I could not control my lust. And she wanted to stay with me. She stayed with me for another year because she loved me so much. And I realized this relationship is beyond repair, bro. I need to break up to make a fresh start, to fucking turn my life around, man. And that's when I finally managed to desexualize my brain. And bro, it completely transformed me as a man. I'm sure you're asking, so how did an over-sexualized brain cause so many fucking insecurities? Why is it so bad? Because, bro, I didn't see women as human beings anymore. I didn't see women as women. I saw them as pure sex objects. Without them, I cannot fulfill my fantasy. And that's where the problems start, because they had something that I could not get without them, which means I created scarcity. And because I created scarcity, I started to pedestalize these women and turned them into piece of meat goddesses. So I started to become overly attached to any woman I saw. I will never forget, there was this one chick in Paris. She was gorgeous, man. Fit. Abs, nice perky tits, and we made out. And then she said like she's not looking for anything, and I became obsessed over her, bro, because she was fit, she could do the splits, and that was one of my biggest fantasies, man. I could not stop chasing her because she was the goddess. So do you see where the problem comes here? Women hate when you chase them. Women hate when you become needy, clingy, and attached. And I became all these things. It wasn't love, it was just sexual desire, pure evil lust. I'm not saying that lust in itself is bad. It's natural. It's a human trait. So you're not a monster for having it. But if it goes uncontrolled, bro, like, man, you're fucked. And this was the story of my life until I desexualized my brain, man. And that's when I had true success with women, because I finally realized that all the neediness, all the clinginess, the attachment, the fear of abandonment, all this shit that always came up with women wasn't them, it was me. And it was my over-sexualized brain that fucked up everything. Here's how I desexualized my brain, bro. If you don't want to change from the core, bro, nothing will work. I'm not going to lie to you. So I developed a strong why and a sensation of why I wanted to change. And I created a why bigger than me. I went cold a couple of times, but then I relapsed after 7-10 days because the urge was too strong. My why wasn't stronger than the urge to relapse. So I figured if my why is stronger than the urge to relapse, I can finally overcome this. How did I find my why? I asked myself, like, what kind of man do I want to become? My career was stagnating. And I realized, bro, like, this is because I don't have the energy anymore. And that was the turning point for me, because I didn't want to be fucking average, man. I wanted to, like, I have one life. You have one life, bro. Like, I wanted to give it my all. This over-sexualized brain will fuck up my dream of becoming the best version of myself. Would my future children look up to her dad that beats his meat? No, they wouldn't, man. And that is the strongest why you can have, bro. And I'm going to use a quote. You don't know what you don't know. If you're unaware of what triggers those urges, how can you stop it? I started journaling, bro. I started to identify whenever I had an urge, what was I doing before? And the pattern revealed itself. I was checking Instagram. I was watching the news. I was watching YouTube, and all those thirst traps of bikini girls working out. Because let's be honest, like, I don't need their fitness workout. I'm just looking at their boobies. They triggered all of those urges. So I cleaned up my entire environment. I unfollowed every Insta chick. I installed a corn blocker, which is super easy to do. And here is the biggest thing, bro. In order to fully desexualize yourself, you have to ask yourself, okay, what are these women giving me that I'm desperately trying to find through them that I cannot give myself? I've slept with way too many women to realize that hookups are really fucking boring. The only thing that we all want as human beings, the main thing, is connection. And connection is a result of internal love. Otherwise, it's a trauma bond. So I started to develop self-love. What do I need to do every day to love myself, to give myself the feeling of pride, so I don't need to find external validation? How can I validate myself internally? And bro, that was the biggest game changer, man. Because now I'm in a position, I have the most beautiful partner, Sandra, but I'm not dependent on her anymore. And we have the great sex now. And I live out my fantasies with her. And now this sounds counterintuitive. It's because I detached myself from the sexualized brain. I desexualized myself to such an extent that I see the human being in front of me for what he or she is. If you need any guidance, if you need any help, comment below, ask your questions. I'm going to answer them individually.